G'day Oldhammerers, it's Brett from Solo Oldhammer Gaming, and we're about to kick off the battle report. So looking forward to this. It's going to be very much fun. It's just been how to do this so that it's interesting. So I think what we'll do is we'll do turn roundups, and as the special rules for Siege happen, we'll go through them with you, so that way you can sort of know what's happening and how this differs from field battles for 3rd edition. But yeah, let's get cracking on. Orcs have the first turn, so get some movement done, and we'll be back. So turn 1 of the battle has been completed. The orcs have started moving towards the walls. Now you might notice that there's no actual movement from the flanking sides, the east and the west sides of the fortress, basically because in the rulebook it says you have to be 18 inches away and set up 18 inches away from the actual fortress itself. So that means that they should have been actually set up on the ping pong table itself. So I've just taken that into account, and they've moved on up to there for this first turn. But the giant himself, he's moved. All the goblins with bows and the orcs with bows have moved and set up. They actually have nothing to shoot at this turn because none of the dwarves have had a chance to expose themselves yet over the walls. These goblins have stayed put. I probably should have moved them actually. But and the giants moved. Now I've decided that the giant gets to move this turn as normal, but now we roll to see if he's drunk. So on a d6, he's drunk, and we'll be following those special rules for the duration of the battle. So on a 6, he's drunk, and he's rolled a 2. So yeah, he's not drunk. So that makes it much easier for the the besiegers. Yeah, if he was drunk, that could have taken a lot of the advantage that the orcs have in this game. I was asked on the comments too, why there's so few dwarves. This is 1,000 points of orcs, and well, giant, of course. So the castle takes account of 50% of your points allocation, so that only leaves 500 points of dwarves that can actually take part in the battle. So yeah, dwarves are not the cheapest of troops, but yeah, that's why there's so few dwarven defenders. But my next siege report, I'll have a lot more defenders than that. So we'll go on to turn 1 for the dwarves, and Dunwyn Stoutbelly's turn, and see what they do and some of the special rules and intricacies of the siege rule set and using the fortress. Okay, so we're back for Dunwyn's first turn, and we'll go through a couple of things on how the castle works. So as you'll notice, the dwarves on the ramparts have been moved forward. up to the ramparts. Now that just tells me that they're exposed because they're going to fire. So that means that the orcs can actually see them. Now in the tower, luckily, you can see there's like a cross in there where the trapdoor goes in. Now, which side you can shoot out of the tower works as a 90-degree arc of fire from inside the tower. So I just put the guys that are firing out that way into that section, so that way I know which way they're shooting. Yeah, so these guys have been moved up to the ramparts, so that way I know that they're now exposed. Now, if this is a game with a GM, none of these figures would have been on the castle at the start. They would have only been placed on there as they get exposed. It's the maps that has the counters on it that let you know who's where and what number is who. So I've done some movement. I've realised the error of my ways, and some of the Imperial Dwarves, they were in this section before. Now moving inside the castle is very, very different to moving outside of it and for a field battle. So no matter what your movement is, you can only move one section at a turn. So I want these guys to actually line up with these orcs. So I need them in this section or this section. So in this section or this section. So that's going to take, well, 1, 2, 3 turns to get them into that section there. So yeah, that was a bit of a stuff up on my part for the dwarves, which is a bit of a bummer. But now we've come to shooting. So all the dwarves are armed with longbows, with crossbows, sorry. So they've got 30 inches range, the -1 to saving to save throws under 15 inches. So they're not under the 15 inches yet. So we'll start with these two guys up here in this tower. They're going to fire at the goblins. They have a ballistic skill of 3. So they're shooting over half range. So that gives them a -1. So ballistic skill 3, usually need a 4, so we need 5s for this. So 2 5s. And they both miss spectacularly. These two guys here, they're going to do the same, but they're going to shoot at the... they're going to try and thin these guys out, so they're going to shoot at those orcs. So they're needing 5 as well, and both miss. Not going very well. 2 guys up on the ramparts, they're going to shoot at the orcs as well, so need 5s for that. Missed again. The two, well, this is not going very well for shooting. The 2 dwarves there are going to shoot at the giant. See if we can maybe get a lucky hit. So he's a large target, so he's +1. Over long range is -1, so that'll put them back to 4s to hit with 3 ballistic skill. Oh, 1 hit, that's good. So we've got a strength of 4 for crossbows, and just got to find out what the giant's toughness is. He's toughness 7. Ooh, I might not actually be able to wound here. 7. Yep, I can wound on a 6. So he can wound on a 6, and he gets a 3. Okay, so he's got 1 arrow in him, but it didn't hurt. Those 2 dwarves there in that rampart, they're going to be shooting at the giant as well. I'm going to try and bring him down because he can kick in that door pretty well. So there's one hit, 1 hit. So he needs a 6 to wound, and doesn't get it. Two dwarves here in this rampart. They're going to shoot at the goblins to the right. just to try and slow them down a little bit, hopefully. 5s to hit, they do hit. And strength 4 on toughness 3 is 3s to wound. Yay, we've got a wound, finally. Now, the goblins over there, they are armed with a hand weapon and shield. And a javelin as well in the army book. But, excuse me, need a 6 to save on that. When you know what to do, the goblin saves. Well, there you go. Up in the ramparts, they're going to do the same thing. 5s to hit. In the battlements, sorry, they hit. 3s to wound. Yep, they wound. A 6 to save. No, finally a dead. Finally, a dead. So the first goblin has been killed by the defenders. So that's one goblin. That's not a very good strike rate. Now, the halfling is armed with a short bow, so I don't actually think he's in range at the moment, because they're only in range of 16 inches. And no, he wouldn't be, because they would have marched on to this first rank from the first turn. So they're not actually there. They're back a little bit to the first rank. So it's not until turn 2 that they'll actually start marching on. Alrighty, so we've got 2 brave dwarf defenders over the gate to the north. They're going to shoot at the orcs with the battering ram. They are, we better check that actually. They might be under 15 inches because the orcs moved. They moved forward with their battering ram. And they're not. They're over 15, so they'll be needing 5s to hit. 4s normally, 5s to hit. -1 for over long range. Yes, that's it. Oh, 1 hit. And orcs are running around with light armor and a shield, so they have a 5/6 saving throw. 2, and they felled an orc. So one of the orcs has been killed. So he's taken out. And that just leaves Dunwin now with his crossbow. And his ballistic skill is 4. So he's going to have a shot at the orcs with the battering ram as well. And he needs a 3, so he'll need a 4 because he's over yeah, he should be over half range, but let's just double check this just to make sure. Yeah, he's still over half range. Next turn though, he'll definitely be getting a shot. Geez, the castle looks good. I'm really impressed. I can see why siege battles are Reggie Didge. So he shoots his crossbow and rolls 1 and misses. Excellent. So because there's no magic, no wizards or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about the magic phase. The phases still stay the same in a siege battle as compared to a field battle. So start off with movement, then shooting, hand-to-hand, magic, reserves move. There's no reserve move phase in siege battles, which I found a little bit, weird. Why did they cut that out? Maybe it's to slow up the attackers so that the defenders can actually maneuver inside the castle, because you'd think that would be a lot easier without having to worry about traveling such distances. It's all enclosed. The lines of support are much closer together. So I'm wondering if that's it. And then rally phase at the end. So, but yeah, that's first move for the dwarves. And I don't know if I'll record the shooting phases anymore, just because I don't want this to be boring, so I want it to be interesting. So, but yeah, so we'll get on to turn 2 for the orcs. So here we are back for turn 2 for the orcs and goblins. So what's happened so far is the orcs and goblins have moved up on all fronts. So on the eastern edge, because we're calling that one that gate there, the northern gate, the southern gate. So this would be the eastern walls. The orcs have all moved up with their goblin support. On the southern gate, the giant has moved forward towards the door. The goblins have moved forward as well because they've got bows. Now it's actually -2 for shooting at any figure inside the castle. So because the orcs moved this turn to try and get rid of that -1 for shooting over at half range, they can't actually hit anything because that'd be 7s they need. So next turn they'll be able to start peppering the battlements and the fortress with arrows. These orcs moved up with the general behind, Bogrock Stuntybane. These little gobbos have moved up. Just realised that, yeah, to be under half range and actually have a chance of hitting on a 6, they're going to have to be within 8 inches of the fortress. So they might have to actually change formation and try to head down that way. These goblins moved straight forward, so did their allies next to them with the bows. They've got to get a little bit closer before they can actually try to hit anything. And these guys have moved forward. The giants lumbered forward as well as the other archers. So yeah, that's just a little tidbit there that yeah, it's -2 to actually hit, like a modifier, -2 modifier straight away to actually hit anything inside the fortress. So yeah, I think I like that. That forces the attackers to get closer. So actually, yeah, fan of that. So that's not too bad. So there's no actual shooting or anything, but turn 3 the old orcs will be able to start peppering the fortress with some bow fire to try and cover their forces, but with paltry, very paltry dwarven firing so far. That's not being so much of a hassle. So yeah, we will go on to dwarven turn 2. Okay, welcome back to dwarf turn 2. Imperial dwarves moved over another section. Then the archers fired. They caused a wound on the giant, which was pretty good. They're all hitting at 3s now, so that's pretty handy. An orc fell from holding the ladders, and a goblin also fell from the battlements. Two orcs are now slain from the battering ram unit. Now I have to check, I'm pretty sure it's 6 figures and they can hold the battering ram as normal. And 3 goblins were killed over there on the western wall. So pretty good round of shooting for the dwarves. I'm gonna have to actually double check to see when to make panic tests for those goblins, especially because I'm pretty sure it's 25% of your starting. So we'll double check that. But yeah, that was turn 2 for the dwarves, and they're getting ready, bracing themselves for the coming assault. Okay, Oldhammerers, Orc turn 3 is done and dusted. A few things happening. All the orcs have moved up. The archers actually stayed put and fired some arrows at the crossbowmen that are exposed on the wall. They needed 6s to hit. So, but they got 2 hits, 1 wound. They've only got bows, so strength 3 on toughness 4 is 5s to hit in 3rd edition. Is 5s to wound, sorry, in 3rd edition. So they did cause a wound, but it was saved by the dwarf. The giant is ready for next turn when he'll actually make the door. The goblins kept moving up. I double checked the battering ram fiasco, and it's actually 8 figures for a battering ram to move normally, 6 figures for a ladder. If it falls under that, then yeah, they move at half movement. There's minimums as well. So these goblins, they reformed because they've got to get closer with their bows. That was a technical error on my part. Dopey. These guys moved up. They lost another one. They're starting to get close to that panic test required. If 25% of your current strength falls, then yeah, that's a panic test. So getting close to that, because they're 10, 13, 10, 12 now, so 3, 6, 9, so 12, so three wounds, three casualties would do that, and they've got 4 dwarves and a halfling shooting at them, so that could actually play a little bit closer. It's interesting to see what happens with this battering ram, whether they're going to have to drop it and walk around somewhere else. But yes, giants on the giants nearly at the gates. The guys on the walls there, they'd be shitting bricks, to be quite honest, I think. Interesting thing, in the rules for giants, it does say that you have -1 to hit. If you're just armed with a hand weapon, because you're not getting to any like chunky, juicy bits on the giant when you're fighting with them in hand-to-hand combat. But because it's fortress, I'm saying that the juicy, chunky bits are right in front of them on the walls of the fortress. So I'm not going to apply that -1 to hit for the dwarves when he reaches the walls. So we'll get on with dwarf turn 3 next. Dwarf turn 3. So the dwarves have been chipping away with their bow fire. They've felled another orc. No luck with the one with the battering ram. Can't remember if I said that was, you need 8 figures for that. After under 8, then they start moving at half. Ladders at 6. So giant hit twice by the dwarves, no wounds. Goblins just creeping forward as much as they can. No hits over this side. The general even missed. Old Dunwin Stoutbelly, he's missed. But they've felled 2 more goblins from the unit of 12. So they might be starting to make panic tests soon. Oh yes, and Imperial Dwarves have finally gotten to the zone that they wanted to get to. So 3 turns to get there. Yeah, that's right. So all happening, it's starting to come down now to getting to the walls. So it's now the orc turn 4, and we'll see how that goes. Probably be another maybe two dwarf turns of firing, and then we'll see what happens with that. Giant will definitely make it this turn, because he's got 6 movement. So we'll see what happens with Orc turn 4. Okay, Oldhammerers, so we're back. The giant's finally at the wall. He's made it to the gate. The orcs have moved up again. Next turn they'll be getting ladders up. I think I've actually stuffed up a bit here for the dwarves anyway. These orc goblins will have their ladders up next turn. We'll go through that when they do. But the guys on the battlements, they're not in a position to fight back or block the ladders when they go up. So this will be very interesting turn for the dwarves. They're going to have to try and panic those goblins there, get some breathing room, but that'll just let the orcs get to the wall then. The archers fired. They all missed. They're needing 6s to hit. So we had some marching going on here, manoeuvring. The orcs are keep you heading towards that north gate. The goblins starting to come down the hill so they can get close enough to support. Probably shouldn't have had a hill like that. I should have probably had like a valley like the other end, so that way they didn't have to re-maneuver and work their way around. Now the goblins here very close. This unit here, I'm not sure if they're going to make it. I don't know. It's going to be close. Dwarves definitely be shooting at them for their next turn. These archers are just a little bit out, so they'll be able to shoot next turn, support the goblins as they go forward. These guys will be up on the wall soon. So it's all happening for the orcs. They're starting to pay dividends, just going forward, head down, shield up, go forward. So, not that the shields are making a difference if you haven't got light armor with the crossbows, because it's -1 save, but there you go. So it's happening. We're nearly there. This is actually exciting stuff for me. I've never actually thought of 3rd edition siege battle before, as I've never had the Mighty Fortress. So this is all new territory for me, and I'm pretty chuffed actually. Enjoying it immensely. So just hope you guys are watching it. But we'll get on to dwarf turn next. Getting there. Okay, so here we are for dwarf turn 4. Really no movement except for the general. He's moved from the top of the battlements into the tower. He'll be coming out the door next turn. You can only move 1 level or section. Doesn't matter how much movement points you've got. Inside the keep, like in the quadrangle thingy, if you have over 6, you can move 2. But that's the only place where you can move 2. You can't move 2 on the battlements or inside rooms or towers or anything. So the archers fired again. They killed another goblin. Not quite enough. They hit and killed another orc. But it's 6 for a ladder where it's affecting your movement. That was close. I actually thought that reduced them to half move, but it's 6, definitely 6. The battering rams still, nothing happened to them. They got shot at by 2 crossbowmen and no wounds, so that was lucky for them. These guys lost another 2, and it's 25% of your current strength. So if they'd lost 3, they would have had to do a panic test, and there's no heroes over this side to help them, so they would have been going at leadership 5. The halfling, he fired missed totally. These guys shot at the goblins with the bows and hit one. And the two dwarves threw a boulder over the top onto the giant's head and caused one wound. So for boulders, you use your ballistic skill. Has to be two miniatures. It has to have two figures to use it, to lump it over. So they lumped it over. Got to use a ballistic skill to hit. So they hit on a 4 because they've got 3 ballistic skill. I think they rolled like a 5 or something, which is pretty good. And it's strength 7, so it was 3s to wound. So because the giant is toughness 6, so I didn't realise the boulders were pretty nasty stuff. Now, if he'd missed, you would have grabbed the template from the book, then rolled a dice, and seen whereabouts it ended up. So that's where it hits. But yeah, they managed to hit with it, and they've hit the giant, and yeah, caused, because it usually causes D3 wounds, 1 D3 wound, so they rolled a 2, I think, on a D6, so that's 1 wound. But we'll be back for probably the action turn now for the orcs and goblinoids, orcs and goblins, where they actually get to the wall. Pretty sure they will hit the wall, then we'll see some hand-to-hand combat and some other parts of the rules that come into it for hand-to-hand combat inside the castle. So we won't be long, and we'll be back for that. Okay, Oldhammerers, it's happening now. The orcs have made it to the wall. The ladders are up. Yeah, just have to remember that I've only got like 4 ladders, so I've got to build some more, because each unit's actually got 2. So that's why there's 2 figures up on the rampart. So what happens is they make base-to-base contact with the wall. The ladders go up. 1 figure per ladder gets to the top, and yeah, the dwarves then have the option of blocking, which they have chosen to do, so they'll only be fighting one-on-one. Blows were traded. Nobody got hurt. So there you go. Now these goblins have made it. Now up to 2 figures per ladder can go up it. So they've got 4 in that section now, because there was no one there to block it. That's where I stuffed up for the dwarves. So tactical error, but the general's on his way down to guard that door. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But they're only going to get another 4 goblins in next turn, if they can move out of there, that is. So we'll have to see what happens there. The orcs and the goblins on the north gate just kept moving, getting closer and closer to their goal. Here, the goblins got 2 ladders up, so yeah, again. But they were blocked by the dwarves, and no damage was caused on either side. This ladder, however, it was put up, it was blocked, both the goblins were killed, and the ladder was cast down. So the goblins have the option to put it back up again on their next movement phase. As for the giant, this attack he chose I think it's the one with strength 10 D6 wounds, and he hit, because it's automatic hit. He wounded the gate, which is toughness 8, and then caused 6 wounds, which is 6 damage points. So the gates are open. The southern gates are cracked open. So I have to see what happens there. This is going to be interesting. What the dwarves can do to counter, because the goblins and the orcs are starting to get inside. So we'll have to see what happens next. But yeah, orcs have been pretty lucky so far. No animosity. It's a first. But yeah, going really well. Now they've both got hatred on each other, so that counts. When you're blocking, the dwarves get +1 to hit for hatred, +1 to hit for defending the wall, and when the goblins are coming up, they're +1 to hit for hatred. So they're hitting on 5s. They end up hitting on, and the dwarven elite guard were hitting on 3s, because 2s. Sorry, 2s. 2 weapon skill. So that was, yeah, 4s, -2 for the defending and higher ground and that, like for being in the castle and the hatred. So yeah, 2s. But yeah, they they both hit but failed to wound. So a couple of cuts and bruises on some goblins. 2 of them impaled on his mate's spears. That unit's really suffering. So we'll have to see. I'll have to have a look for a panic test for them. But yeah, and I just crowded all the other figures instead of being like ranked up. I just crowded them all around the ladder, like they're itching to get up the ladder. So I think it looks cooler. So not to worry, but yeah, that gate's open now, so this could be a bit of a worry for the dwarves, but we'll see what happens in Dwarf 2. Alright, Oldhammerers, so the crossbowmen have moved and they've all started to point towards the gate so that they can have shots at the giant if he goes through. Here, traded blows, nothing happened. Actually, I did want to move these warriors one over so they could start coming over towards the goblins that are coming there. I forgot to do that. These warriors are still standing strong there, waiting to drop stuff down on the orcs when they get there with the battering ram. These guys just bided their time, waiting for the ladders to come back up. Here, 1 goblin was killed, 1 dwarf was killed. So they're not blocking anymore, so the goblins will be able to bring up 3 next turn, and they'll be fighting at normal weapon strengths. So, and the general, he blocked the door. So, all happening. Goblin turn next, and we'll see what happens there. If the giant can manage to get into the castle, then I don't hold much hope for the dwarves, to be quite honest, because he'll just do his sweep attack. D6 +2, automatic strength 5 hits, and he'll just clear the walls. So unless they can fell him, he's got 3 wounds left, so it's a close run thing. We'll see what happens, and that also depends on how many more orcs and goblins can get into the castle, so into the fortress. So the defense of Caraz Lumbar is looking like it's going, inverted commas, historically. As historical as you can get, I suppose. But yeah, we'll come back with the orc turn. God, I really wish I'd stop hitting on photo instead of video. So, that was the orc turn. A couple of really interesting things happened, actually. The over here was a non-deal. Well, he's got 3 attacks and he's rolling 1s and 2s, and if they do hit, they don't tend to wound. But the general didn't kill anyone. Then the gobbos fought back and didn't kill anyone. The guys moved up with the battering ram again, and the goblins are still coming. The giant went inside, so he's actually in the arch of the castle. He's doing a bit of limbo, getting inside. Over here, 1 goblin was killed, the other one's still holding on. They passed their morale check for routing. Over here, one goblin was killed. They don't need to test for that yet. Now for the archers, they got to the wall and it was, they got grappling hooks. And I had a read on some grappling hooks, and when you have grappling hooks, you can't use a missile weapon. But once you get to the wall, you use your ballistic skill to see how many grappling hooks you get up and over the wall. They were lucky enough to get 4 out of the 6. So 4 of them climbed up the wall now. So the other 2 will be able to come up in a sec, next turn, if they move off. Over here, we got the same result. We got 4 grappling hooks out of the 5 up and over the wall, and they've headed off up and over the wall. So they're inside the castle now, being a right pain. So I just don't see the dwarves coming back from this, but we'll play out another couple of turns and see how we go. If that giant stays alive, then yeah, definitely this is going to be a bad day for the dwarves. But yeah, we'll see what they do on their turn, and we'll be back. Okay, Oldhammerers, so we're back for the dwarven turn. It's been about, I'd say probably about 9 hours since I've played a turn, because I went to work and did an overtime last night. So I've got some old ball boys that I want to get, so I thought, why not? So let's do the turn roundup. So over here on the western wall, these 2 dwarves here, they killed the other goblin. The goblins passed their break test, so that was interesting. Just here, another goblin was felled, but there's still goblins in there, so the ladder's still up. The crossbow dwarves, these 2 on the towers, shot at the giant and caused a wound. These 2 over on this wall shot at the goblins that had used the grappling hooks to climb up and missed totally. The dwarves then moved into combat with them and totally missed. The general managed to kill a goblin, and these guys just traded blows, did nothing. These guys yet again traded blows, did nothing. The dwarf actually wounded the champion, but he saved, and the champion managed to wound the dwarf, but he saved. So all happening there. So we're coming up to Orc turn 7 now, I believe. So this was dwarf turn 6, so Orc turn 7. So we'll keep cracking on. If the dwarves can manage to fell this giant, they'll have a better chance. But if he starts running around doing gianty things, then it's going to be a lot harder for them. But we'll see how we go. So yeah, next turn is the Orc turn. So these guys should make the wall, and we'll see what happens with that. And these goblins here are on their way with their grappling hooks. So it's all happening. Okay, so Orc turn. A few things happened this turn. The archers just kept moving for they come forward. They're going to try and use their grappling hooks, I think. Over here, big news. The giant's had an automatic effect. He's used the swipe with club attack, giving d6 plus 2, strength 5 hits, and he's obliterated those 2 Imperial Dwarves. This is why they've got to take him out. He's got 2 wounds left, and they've got to take him out. Otherwise, he's just going to meander around and just destroy everything on the ramparts. So that was pretty handy for them. That'll allow the orcs to get, well, that does actually. That's not blocked anymore, so the orcs can get 4 models up there, so they've got control of this zone. So now the orcs are going to start running around everywhere. Over here, traded blows, nothing doing. Couple hits, but a save. The general killed a goblin, but they passed their save, their panic test, their route test, which is 4, and I rolled a 3. I couldn't believe it. So just when I thought that the dwarves might have a little bit of comeback there, yeah, they actually held. Animosity hasn't really done anything this game either. Like, they've been rolling like champs, to be quite honest, for Animosity. But not so much in hand-to-hand combat. But the goblins on the west wall did manage to kill one of the dwarves, and one of the Imperial dwarves managed to kill one of the goblins. So, and over here, yeah, just traded blows again. Now the problem that the dwarves are going to have is the giant has 6 movements, so instead of only moving 1 zone in the courtyard, there you go, that's what it's called. It's not a quadrangle, it's a courtyard. What an idiot. So yeah, he could actually move 2 zones instead of just 1 in the courtyard, so this could be a bit of a problem for the dwarves, I think. But they've got to fell him. They've got to take out this giant. They can't drop boulders on his head anymore because he's through the gate. I didn't think that he'd smash it in like 2 turns. I think he did no damage the first one, and then 6 damage the next one, and cracked it open. Which reminds me, in the hand-to-hand combat phase with a log ram, so what you do is, it's an automatic hit. Depending on how many miniatures you've got doing it. So that's it has a basic strength of 4, because that's the minimum amount of miniatures that can, models that can wield it. There's 8 there as the maximum, so that's strength 8 on toughness 8, because the gates are toughness 8. So strength 8, toughness 8 automatically hits. Then you roll how much damage it does, and depending on what the strength is of the creature that's using it, then that's how much damage it does. So it's done one damage. So no, it didn't, because I didn't roll the yeah, automatically hits, but you got a wound. So 8 on 8 was 4s, and I rolled a 3. So it's still intact, the north wall. Goblins still making their way around, starting to thin the numbers on the western wall. The dwarves are just holding out. Here, because the goblins moved one of the archers into this zone, that means that those dwarves could no longer block. So can't remember if this dwarf was, one dwarf was killed last turn in the orc turn. No, it was this turn, I'm pretty sure. This turn he's been felled. Over here, another goblin's been felled, but it's this giant that they've got to worry about at the moment. I do have to say that a siege battle on this mighty fortress does look pretty bloody impressive. I'm very, very happy with it. Absolutely having a blast. But yeah, let's get this this turn up and get on to the next one. Alrighty, Oldhammerers, so this turn has been a very, very big turn for the dwarves. It's actually got me wondering what's going to happen as you can see, the giant has been felled. So I don't care if you're telling he's stinky, because yeah, there's nothing he can do now. He's dead. The crossbowman felled him. 3 hits, 2 wounds of 6, and down he goes. But he fell backwards, so he didn't squish anybody. So that was a bit disappointing actually, because I was looking forward to that. But yes, so over here, Warriors managed to kill a goblin, but they failed. They passed their break test of 4. Can't believe how many tests they're passing. Over here they passed as well. This is just, yeah, they just trade blows back and forth and nothing happens. They're managing hits, but not managing to wound because of the hatred. They're managing hits. But over here we finally had a goblin unit that has failed a leadership test of 4, and they're broken. So they got a free slash attack and killed another one. The general had free slash attack and missed, so that was a bit disappointing. But yeah, I don't know whether to use the archers here to use their grappling hooks or to just go straight up that ladder, but we'll see what happens. Over here, so this little cool template, the defenders on the wall, they dropped some boiling water or oxtail soup, I'm not sure which one it was yet, onto the orcs with the battering ram. So it's a 2-inch template, goes down there, it automatically hits 2. It's strength 3, and then you roll to see if it splashes. Now if it splashes, you roll the d6 here, and then that will tell you which way it splashes out, up to 4 inches. On another template, the splash template, but it didn't splash, but yeah, it did manage to kill an orc, so that hasn't done a panic test or anything, but the general's right there, so that's okay. But well, stranger things have happened. They could still fail. But the iron-willed goblins don't seem to be able to fail, except for the ones over on the eastern wall. But yeah, over here, another goblin was killed here. These guys traded blows and did nothing. So it's actually starting to get pretty exciting now, because I'm not actually sure if the orcs are going to be able to take this. So this will be very, very interesting to see. So staying tuned, but yeah, I like that. Look at the goblins fleeing back over the wall with the dwarves chasing them. You just see the orcs in the background too. Awesome, good stuff. So next one we're coming back for is orc turn. Alright, Oldhammerers, a mixed turn for the orcs and goblins. Bogrock Stunty Bane, his plans are starting to come unravelled, but a couple of wins. They tried to batter the wall again, but nothing doing. Those goblins there will be in position to assault the walls with their grappling hooks next turn. That way they'll be able to stop these guys from dumping boiling hot water on them. Over on the western wall, the goblins and the dwarf just traded blows again. These guys shot at the dwarves up in the keep, in the tower, in the battlements, but failed to wound. Here, dwarves killed 2, and they failed their route test. So they're off to the races. But over there, the archers managed to kill one of the dwarf warriors. So yeah, mixed turn. But dwarf turn next. I don't know. They just can't seem to get through this gate. If they could get through that gate, they could get more orcs into the fray. It'll take them too long to march around to get to the ladders. So we'll just see. But at what point, as a general, do you call it? Like, you've already lost your giant. Your goblins are starting to flee. But we'll just have to see. Might play out the dwarf turn and see how we go. Hello, Oldhammerers. Well, that was a huge turn for the dwarves. I think I'm going to call it turn 8. At the end of turn 8 for the dwarves is a dwarven victory. As you can see, they've been broken. The crossbowman here took care of that. Caused some wounds. Another orc over there was felled. Stalemate there, but the western wall is now in retreat. The southern gate is in contention, but yeah, these guys can just come over now. The goblin leadership of 5 does not help at all. Even over here. Now this is so they dumped another boiling hot water on the orcs, killing one orc. This time it splashed, so that way you get to see the splashing template. So that went out to 4 inches and that killed 3 goblins. They then failed their panic test, even though the general was there, and he adds +3 to their leadership. That was an 8, giving them 8 leadership, and they rolled a 9. So yeah, they've panicked. These guys are not going to be able to rally, I don't think, on 5 leadership. It's they had a good run, I think, but I was just mulling over whether to keep playing, because the orcs are absolutely dominating the western wall, but these dwarves just moved back. The general would move up 1, and as they move down the wall, they'd just get peppered with crossbow bolts. So that'd be 8 a turn. These imperial dwarves would move over to the goblins and sort them out, and so I don't think the orcs stand a chance really. So Bogrock Stunty Blaine is defeated, and we'll head back to the Badlands empty-handed. Also less a Grimsmoke Danglejaw. So we'll go to the tail of the tape. So there you have it, Oldhammerers, the first siege battle on the channel, and I actually had a ball. So really enjoyed it. There's a few things I'll do differently next time. Heroes and things need to be spread out more in the army. That can probably happen when you're fighting bigger battles, and I probably would have made the units for the orcs definitely a bit bigger. I don't think I would have split, in hindsight, I don't think I would have split the goblins up that much. Little units, they take a couple of hits and then they're very fragile. They did roll pretty well at the start. Animosity didn't really have anything to do with the entire battle. I rolled pretty good for that. Leadership was good at the start, but yeah, once you start failing a couple, then it just, yeah, it seems to roll on from there, as we know. So, but had a really good time with the battle, preparing it, painting up the forces for it, waiting for stuff to come in the mail. It was very exciting, and I loved every second, and just want to thank everyone for their patience, actually, because that was in the making for quite a while. But I really enjoyed my first siege battle for the channel. There's definitely going to be more siege battles. I'm working at the moment on another field battle, probably Orcs and Goblins for their first field battle on the channel. I'm just waiting for some Goblin Wolf Riders to show, and I've just got to paint a few more Orc Archers, and I think I've got about 8 of them to paint because you need 20 for the minimum, for the army minimums and maximums. So once I get my finger out and paint those, then yeah. But I've been a little bit distracted too, because like work and stuff is normal, but there's a couple of games that have really sort of taken my interest as well, like Dead Man's Hand, for instance. That's a quick and easy game to throw together. But I was thinking about actually trying to convert some of the old siege, not siege, like skirmish stuff from I think it was like 6th edition when they started coming out with that skirmish stuff, and turn it into stuff for 3rd edition. I think 3rd edition had worked quite well with that, like low point counts, and restrictions on characters and stuff. So I've been toying around with that and writing some stuff up, but for the channel. But still, I got the rest of the stuff for the Empire Army as well, so I've got to put those together. So I might actually put those together and do a little bit of filming as I put them together, and just have a chit chat, something to put up. Yeah, can either watch it or not. But if you're new to 3rd edition, then definitely get yourself the rulebook. It is fun. I know the old world's supposed to be coming out soon, but yeah, whatever. I just got this bad feeling about the old world. I really do. I just hope it doesn't end up like the Horus Heresy and just like sort of lumped and then dumped. A little bit of a cash cow that they could have had. And so yeah, but get yourself a 3rd edition rulebook, even a naughty PDF version, and have a read through it. I'm sure you'll love it. It's the Emperor's edition for me. I absolutely love it. I've been having a ball doing the battle reports and making up armies and everything. So, but once you get a copy of that, then yeah, get a copy of Siege. Build a castle out of books if you have to, but yeah, just do whatever you need to fight a siege battle. Don't leave it for 47 years like I did. So oh, sorry, that was a bit of a coughing fit. So yeah, the coughing fit's telling me it's time for a cuppa, and fix up the rest of the stuff for the video and get it up online and on the channel, so everyone can have a looky and have a squiz. And but yeah, build a castle out of books, whatever you need to do. A couple of novels could be a castle while you're first fighting it. Build one out of that foam, whatever you need. But play play and let me know. Show me photos of your games. That's what I really like the most, is I get a real kick out of people that get back into 3rd edition because they've watched the channel and they see how much I enjoy it and want to give it a go again. So other than that,
I just want to thank all my subscribers. We're nearly up to 600 now. Holy moly. Never thought that'd happen. I was happy when... I would have been happy with like 50. We're nearly up to 600, so that's good. But keep coming on this journey with me. Like and subscribe. And always remember, stay cool. Stay Oldhammer.